Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Baumgarten. Many of you know me as Reporter Gary, and I'm back at the lovely home of Dov Hikind, who is the founder of Americans Against Antisemitism. Dov, it's a beautiful house. It's a beautiful neighborhood. It's always congeniality when you and I get together and talk, and I really appreciate that. And I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart. But I'm not happy that I'm here today, frankly, because the reason I came back to visit you is because the attacks in this neighborhood and neighboring neighborhoods where there are high concentrations of identifiably Jewish individuals is accelerating. And if it can happen in New York City, it can happen anywhere. And I have to tell you that I have a bit of, people might say I'm an alarmist, but I have a real concern about what's going on.
Well, you have reason to have concern. People are very concerned. What's happening right now has never happened before. We've always had anti-Semitism. There'll always be racism and anti-Semitism. But the numbers speak very, very loud and clear. You have constant attacks. You have Jews being attacked in New York on a regular basis. And the statistics tell you clearly that this has never happened before. But it's even worse than that. The American Jewish Committee just did a poll just in the last couple of weeks. One of the things that poll indicates is that most people don't even report the incident of anti-Semitism.
So it's much worse.
It's much worse. You get caught. I have someone in my synagogue, a man in his early 70s, who turned around to me in the synagogue and he said, you know, I was standing at the train station at Kings Highway waiting for the train. A woman who happens to be African American walks over to me, never saw her, never spoke to her, comes over to me and says, you effing Jew, twice. You effing Jew. Walks away. The man is stunned. Like, what did I do to her? I mean, this is the kind of stuff we're hearing all the time. We have actually created a hotline number for people. People need to report any kind of incident of anti-Semitism. It is so important. It is important that the people who are in charge, that they be aware of how serious things are. Look, they are very serious, but it's worse. And unfortunately, it's not being dealt with in a serious way. I mean, all you have is platitudes. You know, all our politicians do now, whether it's the mayor, the governor, you know, let me tell you, they're very brave. They condemn anti-Semitism. Isn't that courage to do that? And then they leave and go away, and then they come back a few days later because there's another incident, and guess what? They condemn anti-Semitism. And you know what? They don't even have to appear on TV. They just issue a thing on Twitter, and that's it. What chutzpah, what audacity, not really facing up and saying, something is wrong. We got to deal with it. What's the problem? Why is this going on? And if you don't do that, you'll never solve the problem. So people are afraid. I got to tell you, people are afraid.
So I'm trying to break this down in my mind and maybe for the viewers and listeners in their minds as well. If a Jew walks in a neighborhood where I am an anomaly, I stand out in this neighborhood because I'm not identifiably Jewish. I'm Jewish, I'm proud to be Jewish, but I don't look Jewish. I don't wear the garb. Somebody can come into this neighborhood, not just somebody, many somebodies, which is what is troublesome. And with impunity, or at least they feel with impunity, they can drive up and down the street, they can roll down the window, they can yell anti-Semitic comments at people, and even on occasion, too many occasions, assault people. If they could do it in this community, how do they feel that they have the ability to do this? I guess I can't find the words to really explain.
Well, you're absolutely correct. It is unbelievable, the chutzpah, the audacity that you have people coming into the neighborhood, often on the weekends. People are walking in the streets. They're not carrying anything in their pockets if you're an Orthodox Jew. And we had an incident just a week ago or so, one group of people attacking multiple groups of Jews in different parts of Borough Park. It's amazing. And they're not afraid. And our community, look, something is going to happen. There needs to be a Jewish defense group. There needs to be something to send a message, not just to the bad guys, but to the people at City Hall, that if you don't deal with it, there are going to be Jewish tough guys in the street who are going to deal with the problem. Sooner or later, this cannot go on, and it's just a tragedy what's going on.
I think, this is my opinion, and I don't know whether you agree with me, but there is an impression, correctly or wrongly, that if there's somebody walking around, a Hasidic Jew, they're going to be passive, they're not going to fight back, and so they're easy targets.
Oh, God, I wish that wasn't true, but maybe there is some truth to it. There hasn't been enough of standing up to these hoodlums now and confronting them. As you pointed out, we're talking about a community, take Borough Park or take Williamsburg, a community that is overwhelmingly Jewish, young people. How are these animals, as far as I'm concerned, how are these people getting away with it every single day? And let me tell you something. If someone were to check those few people who are arrested for committing these bias crimes, what's happening to them? Isn't it interesting? We read about bias crimes. Sometimes people are arrested, but neither you nor I know how those cases are being disposed. I can give you an idea. Nothing is happening to the perpetrators because there's a new system of law and order now. It's a young person. We don't want to ruin their life. So they call someone a dirty Jew. They beat up on a Jew. We don't want to ruin their life.
Maybe they'll give him a ticket to a Mets game.
That's not a joke. You take him to a Met game. We can't ruin this person's life. We never hear of what happens to the perpetrator. Someone needs to go to the Brooklyn DA, and because there's a new thing in town now. We don't want to ruin anyone's life. So bias crimes, which are serious crimes, nothing's happening to the perpetrators.
Well, Dov Hikind, I'm hoping to come back to your house and we'll break some bread and say, hey, they got a handle on this. That's going to be our next interview. That's my hope.
Well, I think government people, the mayor, I spent 40 minutes with Mayor de Blasio on the phone just a few days ago. I have been asking for a state of emergency. There needs to be a state of emergency declared by the mayor. Why? Because, first of all, it'll send a powerful message that this issue of bias, of violence against Jews is being taken seriously at City Hall. I told the mayor, I said, with all due respect, Bill, no one thinks you're doing the job as far as the issue of anti-Semitism. No one thinks that. Now, you may not be able to solve the problem, Mr. Mayor, but at least give people the impression, at least come into our communities and walk the streets of the communities that are under attack on a regular basis. Be there. They're not there. Is the mayor there? Is the mayor there? The answer is no. Is the governor there? The answer is no. And many other elected officials. The platitudes are there. Corey Johnson, the Speaker of the Council, he's there always condemning anti-Semitism. But Mr. Corey Johnson, what is your plan? What are you doing? You're talking about the issue. What are you doing to address a situation where citizens of America, citizens of the city of New York, are under attack? And what is government doing to protect them? Right now, very little.
Dov Hikind throwing the gauntlet out. Maybe we'll get a response from the mayor or the new police commissioner. That would be very lovely. Thanks for doing this interview as always. Folks, if you like it, give it a thumbs up. If for some absurd reason you don't, give it a thumbs down. Comment, subscribe. And as I always say at the end of these interviews, peace out.